Dr. T brings the real and refreshing insights, straightforward, evidence-based, and up-to-date. Now here's the doctor and Lisa.
Lisa, how are you?
Dr. T, it's been so long. A whole week that feels like a month, that feels like a year.
I love it. I'm looking forward to these every week now.
I know, me too.
So
only because I look really cool using my microphone.
Well,
That's it. It's the only reason.
You know, this whole Zoom thing is, I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
Although
it's not great that we're getting used to it, but it's true.
So let's share with the audience. I am in studio today with just the producer at Podplant. Great guy, Mike, and I'm wearing a mask, and I think we'll emphasize the importance of that because we have so many people who don't have symptoms and carry the virus. So we need to use those masks to protect others. So that means young people should be wearing masks if they're out and about using essential services.
I think that's a really important message because as much as it's uncomfortable to wear a mask, I do it whenever I go anywhere, and I notice a lot of people still aren't.
Yeah, even myself. I go out and then I realize, damn, I forgot my mask at home. And then I feel bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, a medical professional.
Terrible.
It's okay. We all can be kind to ourselves. Even Dr. T forgets sometimes, guys, but let's all do our best,
We're
right?
human.
That's the moral of the story.
But I remember today, because we got to take care of Mike. Mike keeps it all together.
That's right.
Exciting episode. We're going to talk to an amazing person and an amazing physiotherapist, master of science in physiotherapy, lifetime athlete, and just so helpful for so many people in our community here. Quick housekeeping things. We say this every week. The numbers don't matter because the cases are not accurate. There are probably a lot more cases out there. Reported 3.2 million confirmed cases around the world, 226,000 deaths from COVID-19 around the world. And we've decided we're going to start putting things into perspective here. So far in 2020, just under 3 million people have died from starvation around the world. So when we think about human cost to COVID-19 versus human cost to a global depression, we need to think about it very closely. What was that, episode 2, Lisa? Was that the flattening the curve episode? I think it was
that's
episode
right.
2.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. I think, you know what? I think a comparison is a really worthwhile thing to do. And it's not always a good thing to do, because often it makes us covet other things. But in this case, it's always good to compare to realize how you should put things in perspective and how you should be grateful for what you have.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we lose this whole idea of being relative in the mainstream media. And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to help our listeners cope through COVID-19. And so, again, without further ado, we have Tara Cameron with us. We're so excited. And I guess best thing to do is just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about where you went to school and what path you took and what you're doing now.
Sure. I'm super happy to be here. And it's great to see your faces because I miss them. And Zoom has been a great platform for me as well to start doing virtual physiotherapy, which is totally new to me. So I went to Western for a Bachelor of Science.
That's in London, Ontario, folks.
Yes, best university, sorry. I also went to U of T twice. I did a Bachelor of Education and my Master's of Physiotherapy.
I'm a U of T alma mater. U of T is the University of Toronto for all of our listeners around the world.
That's right. And Tara, what a perfect person to teach us about physiotherapy.
Exactly.
An education background and a physio background. Here we are.
Yes. So I love educating people. That is probably my favorite part of the job, to be honest. And it's a part that is not removed with COVID.
Look at that.
Right.
So that part is so empowering and can definitely decrease anxiety an unbelievable amount through these times. So my main role, I want to be an educator about the body and about the mind-body connection. And I love teaching people about their bodies and how to reduce pain and reduce stress in their life.
And, I feel like now we have more time on our hands. So, probably now would be a good time to look closer at what parts of your body are hurting you, or if it's your whole body that's hurting you, and start to focus on ways to solve those problems. Would you agree with that?
Exactly. Things have slowed down a little bit for a lot of us, and you're not commuting to work anymore for a lot. So you have some extra time to check in. And that's important when you're working full time as well. But this is a great time to check in with your body. There are many things that you ignore for, honestly, some of my patients tell me they've ignored things for years. A pain in the knee that's just kind of been nagging them over the last 7 years
Right.
is a common number for some reason. And
Lucky
those
number
are
7.
things that those are things that now you can focus on and connect with a physiotherapist and ask questions. There's so much that we gain from chatting about symptoms and about work environments and movements. It's unbelievable how much just from a conversation and a video chat that how much information you can gather to help ease these problems that have been nagging for a long time.
That's amazing. So do you find that people, let's say with this person with the nagging knee pain that is intermittent, maybe happens once in a while when they do a certain movement,
Yeah.
do people usually wait for something to become acute? So what I mean by acute is that the pain becomes suddenly so much worse and they need to do something because they can't function anymore.
100%. And that gets difficult because when things are acute, everything around that area starts to change. And so it's more difficult to diagnose. So if you have kind of this nagging thing that's been talking to you, you can pay attention to it and really get to kind of the root of the issue. Also, it's telling you something. Your body is communicating with you. Pain is, it's there for a reason as a communicator. So don't wait till it's debilitating and it disrupts your life. Figure it out before. Prevention. I am a rehabilitation specialist, but I would love if physiotherapy started to transfer into prevention as well.
So there are a couple main points there. Number one is that preventative medicine is the best kind of medicine, folks. And that is invariably the case in most disease processes that we see around the body. A second main point there is that if you even have a slight pain that you're feeling, your body is communicating with your mind and telling you there's something that is lingering that could get worse. And practitioners such as Tara and I wish people would let us know sooner. The last thing that I would say is when you get to the point where the pain is unbearable and you do come in, a lot of it is some very simple treatments that don't necessarily require oral medications, but rather require some topical applications and some special maneuvers in which Tara is an expert with. So, for example, on our Instagram account, at The Real Anonymous MD, you'll see something about pezanthine bursitis, which is something we deal with all the time together, Tara. And, a big point there is stay ahead of the pain, folks. You're in a race with pain. If you fall behind, you just sit there chasing the pain. So I think those were some of the main highlights there.
That is some deep stuff there, Dr. T.
Sorry.
You are just chasing the pain. No, I like it. That's true because you know what? I have been in the habit of only calling Tara when I am in acute pain, and I have gotten better at not doing that.
So, Tara,
and it has made a big difference.
So, Tara, do you have some specific examples in this COVID-19 era of how we can adapt to take care of our body, to prevent injury and prevent pain and address pain early?
Yes, definitely. So an exercise program, or I like to call it a rehabilitation program, And it can be very short. It can be 3 exercises that are 10 minutes that are really focused on your areas of difficulty. As soon as you focus in on balancing the structures, you're going to feel a world of difference throughout the entire body. So it doesn't have to be this crazy 1-hour commitment every day to make changes. It can be putting a timer on your phone to go off every 2 hours to remind you of your seated posture when you're at your, everyone's correcting their posture now, at your desk. You know, you want to make sure you're sitting ahead of your sit bones so that your spine is in neutral. You want to make sure your feet are flat on the floor and that your knees are a little bit lower than your hips. Super simple things to reduce joint damage for the longest time. Your whole life, you want to reduce that compression of the joints to minimize arthritic change. Those are what we see probably the most, Dr. T, right?
Yeah, and then the soft tissue injuries that are associated with them. When you said, you know, the whole area starts to change, it usually starts with the degenerative process. In our younger athletes, they tend to develop them sooner in life, just because of the wear and tear their bodies take. In people who are, you know, not in more manual labor fields, they tend to present later in life. But it's true, when they come in to see us with this unbearable pain, it's usually a soft tissue structure or a bursa in that area that's causing that acute flare. So it's like you said, we can prevent that from happening with these certain ways. Now, I think Lisa had a good point that she wanted to bring up.
I actually just have a question about what a bursa is, because I'm guessing a lot of our listeners don't know.
So if let's put it this way: if they go to @TheRealAnonymousMD and go to my highlights section, there's one all about Pez-Anserine bursitis, and they'll learn a lot about it from there. But a bursa is basically a fluid-filled sac that serves as an attachment point for the tendons and muscles of our body. So you can imagine that if you have a really tight or tense muscle that hasn't been strengthened or isn't flexible enough, it'll start to create traction on that point on the bursa and cause acute inflammation, making it a bursitis.
I see.
Hey, Tara, did I get that right?
Look at
That was excellent.
Oh, look at that. An A+ for Dr. T from Tara. That's nice.
We learn from each other. So getting back to Lisa and her acute back pain, actually.
Thank you. Yes. Let's talk about that, guys. I really feel like we don't talk about me enough. So come on.
So really what Lisa should be doing, she should be getting a short rehab program from me and working on that maybe every other day for 10 to 15 minutes. And I can send her videos that will describe exactly what to do for her to stabilize her lumbar spine, so her low back. And honestly, it would make a world of difference.
Lisa is going to be doing that, I think.
And that's one solution for one problem. So I assume that if a patient is dealing with neck pain or shoulder pain or hip pain or knee pain, a physiotherapist in this new COVID-19 world would still be able to work virtually with patients to be able to address the root cause of the problem. Is that what I'm kind of hearing there?
Yes, there are many things that can reduce the symptoms quickly, many exercises, and you don't need any equipment, and just your home and a wall and maybe a mat, but not even. And even for things as terrible as sciatic nerve pain, I had a client last week that got a couple of exercises from me, and quoting him, he said, one of the exercises felt like euphoria in his whole body.
Good.
Wow.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Just for booking a virtual appointment? That's amazing.
Right?
So what would I do then? I would book an appointment with you, and we'd chat like we are now on a video platform like Zoom or one other one.
Exactly. It's actually through Zoom. So I would send you a link, and it would hook up an appointment time. give you very easy instructions, and we would meet up through Zoom and we would talk, and I would educate you a lot about the injury and teach you some exercises to help minimize the stress on that area.
Now you're based in Toronto, just for our listeners, but if a listener wanted to get in touch with you in particular and try one of these virtual programs, what would be the best way to do that?
Yeah, they can email me. My email is Tara Cameron PT, as in physiotherapist, at gmail.com.
So Tara Cameron PT, as in physiotherapist, at gmail.com.
That's correct.
Lisa, can you talk to us just, so we're running out of time. We're going to have to wrap up soon, but, tell me.
What I think is really important here maybe is that, it's not just about what, that knee that's bugging you or that hip that's aching a bit when it's going to rain, etc. It's about what that does to your mind and what your mind does to your body as well. Now, Tara, in your experience, are you finding we last week and the week before we spoke with Dr. Codsey a lot about this sort of mind-body connection and about taking care of the most vulnerable and really about all of us taking care of our mental health during this really interesting time that we're in, this really difficult time. Can you talk to us a little bit about how the virtual physiotherapy can help us on a different level other than the physical?
Yeah, 100%. So having a little bit of a structure, so you have a routine to follow, it gives you a little bit of control over things that we don't have a ton of control over right now. So it gives you time to focus on relaxing your body. Sometimes the stuff for back pain and any pain really is actually even just breath work and relaxing the body. It is all intimately linked, right? So, exercise and stress relief, that is not a new topic. So that is a hugely important thing to do right now.
Wow.
What a great episode. You know what I think? Maybe we'll see how, because again, a lot of things are new right now. So we're just starting this program of virtual physiotherapy. We'll see what happens here in Ontario. It sounds like we're going to take a bit more of a conservative approach in terms of loosening up. And that's in contrast to other provinces such as Quebec, which are doing it a little bit more quickly. Let's just put it that way. But maybe when you start to actually go through a lot more sessions and learn some of the pros and cons, we can get you back on and you can share some more of that insight with us. It was so good having you with us today, Tara.
Thank you so much. I would love that.
Thank you. Did you enjoy it?
Totally.
Dude,
and
I
will
just
see
work
you
with the
in...
most brilliant people, and they happen to be women. All of them.
Oh,
do you notice
what
that?
A guy, hey?
Not all of them,
Tara,
but most of them.
I'm going to see you in 5 minutes for my own session, especially now that I know that I get a personalized exercise video after. I mean, I'm pretty sure that otherwise that would be exponentially expensive.
And by the way, Lisa
and with
is paying
somebody
Tara.
with a
you are
lot less
her.
knowledge than you.
You are paying her. You are paying her, and you are not getting a discount, Lisa.
Oh, I'll pay her.
Okay. That has nothing to do with me. But listen, I wanted to end off on one anecdotal story, and I think you had a similar experience this week, Lisa. Yesterday, my son, he's almost going to be 3 years old. He hadn't seen another child for almost 2 months, and he's been hanging out with 30-year-olds and 70-year-olds, and he has been such a champ. Kids are so resilient. It has been impressive to watch. He's actually the one I look at and feel the most sorry for. But a very close group, what we would consider our uncles and cousins, people that we grew up with and had our children with, families that we've known for 20 years. We checked with our elderly, most at-risk grandparents about a system where we would have a gathering on a driveway and a front lawn where people would keep their space to celebrate the birthday of two of my son's cousins that happen to fall close to each other. And the grandparents of both the birthday children were there from both sides of the family. One family decided that they were going to come but not get out of the car. And we communicated to them from the car. And it was a very calculated, planned. We made sure that we checked with the people most at risk. And, I'm going to say it. We may have broken the law. So I think the Ontario law, wasn't there something about 5 people? But, if I have to pay the fine, I'll pay the fine, because seeing my child, the look on his face and the happiness that he felt seeing his 2 cousins was something that really, really put things into perspective of what we used to take for granted. So, Lise, you had a similar anniversary.
I did. And this 5-person thing, I don't think I was fully aware of it at the time, but I would have done it anyway too, Dr. T. So we had my godparents, my aunt and uncle, had their 50th wedding anniversary just last week. And I can't even fathom a 50-year wedding anniversary. First of all, because I'm not married and I probably won't live that long when I am married.
You never know.
I might, you two might keep me really healthy and it might happen, but I'm not sure. So, and they're really, really missing everybody. Our family's very close. We usually have Sunday lunch together every week, and they're missing their grandchildren. We've purchased my aunt an iPad and set her up on it. But we're missing that connection. So we surprised them with a little parade and a little driveway toast. And most of it was just us laughing and crying. And when I say crying, I mean, we're Italians. So there was just a lot of tears.
Joy.
Because that's what we do.
Emotion.
But it was truly joyful.
Yeah.
And so I would just suggest that you try to find these joyful moments in a way that's safe and everyone's comfortable with, when you can. And
communicate, and, keep it very planned. Keep it outdoors. Keep your space. It does go a little bit against what the mainstream mantra is, which is stay inside at all costs. But we've kind of been supportive of that here at Anonymous MD, being on the open air, and just communicate so that you keep everybody safe. And I think we'll wrap it up there this week.
Sounds great. I'm going to go and get my spine fixed. So, yay.
I'm going to go do some more clinical work.
Okay. And all of you out there with the aching knees and the backs and the necks, because I know you're out there. And if you're in the, if you'd like, reach out to Tara. It's Tara Cameron, pt@gmail.com. Follow us at The Real Anonymous MD on Instagram. And follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts, please, so that we can tell you when we're new.
And thank you to the Pod Plant, as always, for helping us out. At the Pod Plant on Instagram as well. Take care, folks. See you next week. I think we have cardiology next week. We have a heart doctor in next week. That's huge.
Good. You can help me with my dating life. Is that what cardiologists do? Perfect.
No, this will probably not be helpful for you. This one, yeah.
Okay.
It's not about you, Lise. Bye, folks. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. Subscribe wherever you're listening to the podcast. On YouTube, smash that bell. That's a notification button. Anytime the doctor knows something, so will you. Stay healthy. See you next time.